Hello friends, it's Julie, and today I'm running off to do my errands. I need to restock my antique booth, and I have a few questions. I know it was over a month ago when he said, let's do a monthly Q&A, and yeah, I'm a little late. So I have a couple pages of questions that I'd like to address because I think more people would like to know the answers, and I'm pretty sure you're not all going back to my old videos and checking out what I said before. So the first one I'm going to address, I'm going to go from the older videos to the newer videos. Okay, so the first one is from my Solar Scene to Sold Part 4. By the way, I'm going to do an update on this sometime to do a new process series. So this one was from Rosemary Hubis, and she says, please explain what you mean by eBay mailer. I have not seen where this is mentioned on eBay site or eBay's postage. So I believe what I'm referring to is the eBay standard envelope. And if you search for it, I find it easier to do a Google search than to search on eBay site. It's just, I can find things easier. But it gives you what qualifies to use that, and which categories, because there's only certain categories, and then it isn't a specific mailer itself, but its parameters is like so big, and so you have to be within a certain size and certain weight. So look that up, and it's a really good way to ship postcards. And then I'm getting warm, so we're gonna head down the road and do more Q&A. Okay, in my last travel errand video, I didn't explain my stop, so that very much, and you might have been confused, but I'm stopping partly into town on a stretch of road they call the Hogsback, because you're basically driving on a ridge. So here I am. Okay, the next video that I have some questions on is, how are my drawers? So the first one is from Illicit Hero and says, when you send a single postcard to Europe or just an envelope and a stamp, do you include the VAT info as part of your address? I don't, but I'm not sure if it's required on an item which is basically sent as a letter. I don't include any VAT. It's just basically mailed as a letter, and a letter does not require VAT. I know there might be some resellers who don't do this, who actually charge the full amount to do the VAT and the international. But I've been doing this, and everybody's happy, and it arrives, and I've only had one or two lost. Okay, and the next one is from Pat Land. Just came and subscribed after I saw you hosted on another channel, which is my interview with Suzanne A. Wells. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend it. You could learn a different side of me. All right, so I have a couple questions. Can photo images be captured on one of those scanners that scan a stack of postcards without damage, or do you use a flatbed scanner? If a photo is glued in an album, I saw that one can use dental floss to try to detach them. Do you use this method, or what would you suggest? Okay, for the first one, with the Epson scanners, you can certainly scan photos, just not like hard photos, like a cabinet card or maybe a metal one or something, or a glass plate. But you can scan regular photos without damage. The scanners do not damage your items. If they did, we wouldn't be using them. And I've also scanned many other things, such as ink blotters and trading cards, tickets, anything that can be scanned through, that's a little bit flexible, can be scanned. I haven't even done some stereo view cards which were flat that have worked. And then the second one is about glued photos to an album. If you see this and the album is just so-so, I would not buy it unless the whole album itself has value. Like if it tells a story or is a certain event that people are interested in, then I would keep it as an album. I tend to not want to get those albums that are glued, or even the sticky ones with the sticky back on it, because they're more trouble than they're worth. You're likely to damage the photos, or that whatever it is that are in it. It's just easy to find another one. There's so many out there. So if you have photos that you think you're going to get a lot of money for individually, to take them out of the album, what I would do is I would basically tear around the page that the photo is stuck to, and I would see if I can ease any of it off. I have not done the dental floss thing because it just seems like so much work for so little gain, because most of the time you don't really get as much back out of the effort you put in. But you can certainly try the dental floss method. I've heard of other people. I've even heard of people taking a dull razor blade and gently scraping off the back, and you just do that at your own risk because you can damage the item as well. So for me, I would just gently peel back as much as I can, and just leave the rest of the what we call album residue, the paper on the back, and just leave it. All right, now the next set of questions are from the Mary Martin postcard video, and the first one is from Parker's Postcards and says, my video today is a haul from Mary Martin as well. Great cards. And that was really funny that we did it in the first thing. We must have purchased from the same auction. He has a channel called Parker's Postcards, and you will want to try to support him right now because he, same as me, we have our 1,000 subscribers, but we don't have the watch time. I think I'm about like 30 or 40 hours short on an average one. So every day I need to have 30 or 40 more hours watched in order to get monetized. But anyways, I'll try to remember to link him below so you can watch him. He has some interesting content as well. So the next one is Ed Banger, and he says, ask yourself the question, why are they selling in lots? If the cards were that profitable, they would sell themselves singularly on eBay. They know what they are doing. They are picking the best cards and probably selling them elsewhere. So because I asked the question, is it worth it? And so in his opinion, it's not profitable after the eBay fees and taxes. Okay, so this is just one way of looking at it, because every postcard seller is going to focus a little bit different and have different eyes to look. Yes, Mary Martin Postcards knows their postcards, and they have, I think, like millions of postcards. Yeah, they may pick through, maybe they take out the Halloween or some really rare ones or whatever. They may do that, but I have actually done okay with them. I mean, I was able to sell some of those postcards for more than $10. To me, eventually it will be worth it. Would I purchased from them again a lot? Maybe not, because I'm kind of switching to being a lot more picky. So I'm doing less large lots. But yeah, so I think there's a valid point here that yes, you want to be careful about who is going to be picking through. But I still think there's a lot of money to be had, especially if you can get the price point down on your postcards. Because some of those lots, like the chrome lot that I got, that was like an incredible deal because nobody else wanted them. That I got them for so cheap that it's easy to make a profit on that. So it depends on the lot. Okay, so let's head into town. I still have to grab some lunch and it's already 1 o'clock. So let's get going. I made it to Billings and I just ordered my food. So let's do a couple more questions. So the next one is from the video, do I control my inventory or does my inventory control me? And Ed Banger says, I have a few hundred old postcards, a young girl's collection from early 1900s, procrastinating. How do I research them quickly or quicker? Keep putting it off. Well, I don't really know a quick way to research because it seems like when I started, I needed to research every single postcard because I didn't know if it would be valuable or what the value was. As you get going, the more you know and the more you see them, you get more of a feel for, oh, this is a $5 card, this is $10, this is a $100 card, or whatever. Oh, sometimes with $100 cards, I have to look that up. But the common cards you see over and over again. So what I usually do is I will type in the title of the postcard, put it into eBay search, worth point. Okay, so if eBay search brings up like hundreds of the same one, I know this is a very common card. I don't have to go any further. If there's not much there, then I either misspelled it, which happens a lot, or it's more of a rare card. So then I go to worth point, and then I can also just do a Google search. The Google search will actually bring up eBay results that eBay didn't show me. I don't know why it's easier sometimes to find postcards listings just on a search engine rather than eBay itself. It's the algorithm that they play with. Anyways. Okay, the next one is from Julie Green, and she says, great finds at the thrift store. Wow, $300. It's a dream for me, because I did a $300 weekend, but that's because I also sold a photo album for a couple hundred. I need to do an assessment of my unlisted inventory. I bounce between FOMO, fear of missing out, and being completely overwhelmed with how much unlisted inventory I have. This isn't a question, but this is something that I see so much in postcard resellers, and maybe other resellers as well, especially collectibles, because I think we love the treasure hunt and finding the things. And then once we find the things, because we see value in things other people throw away. But once we find the things and take them home, then we have to do the work. And it takes a lot longer to list 100 items than it does to buy 100 items. So what I would suggest is to at least gather up all of your postcards or photos or whatever it is that you mainly sell into one area and do an assessment. For me, what I did was I figured out how long it took me to list a box of postcards, and so I figured I had a couple months worth. I actually probably have 3 months worth. Because I've been doing it slower lately. But this many listings a day, I have this many items. How much in inventory do I have? How long will it be until I would need more? And the other thing is that there's always going to be somebody selling an estate of somebody's postcards they've had hidden away in the basement since the 1900s. There's always going to be a postcard collector, a postcard dealer that's retiring or moving their things on. There's always going to be that. So you don't have to buy every single one. There's always going to be more. I know that you have that fear of missing out. Like, what if you buy that lot and you find that $1,000 postcard, or the one that went for $1 million, like the Titanic one or something? What if you missed that one? Chances are you don't. I mean, we really make our money on everyday postcards, don't we? So I would just encourage everyone to take a good look at their inventory, how much time it will take you to get through them, and try not to buy too much, because that's money sitting there that we're not earning if it's not listed. Okay, so the next one is what sold transportation postcards. One of my what sold I do every month, and this is from K Des, and they said anthropomorphic is when animals are engaging as humans. That postcard, I did not see any animals in it, so it would not be considered anthropomorphic card. That's correct. I had seen airplanes with animal faces on them. So the airplanes made to look like animals, and my mind flipped and said, oh, anthropomorphic. No, that's not right. I was incorrect, and they corrected me. So I didn't want to confuse anyone about what anthropomorphic was. All right, I'm going to go and get my lunch. What are you having for lunch? Let me know in the comments. And just like that, I got my lunch. What I got was a burger from Red Robin. They have gluten-free buns, so I usually just do lunch out once a week. Anyways, so the next one is for, did I pick the right lot? And Jackie Jack's comment is, the World's Fair beer is called a gatefold. So thank you for that information, because I've heard people call it panoramic, a folding, just all kinds of names. So gatefold, I hadn't heard that one before, so thanks. And then We Fix Printers said, how do you do at your antique booth with postcards? We've just gotten a booth in Southern California and we'll be adding more cards soon. Okay, so for me, my antique booth is a supplement to my eBay business. eBay is first, and then the booth is like other stuff. So it's not like my main focus. So I have probably thousands, like probably 7,000 postcards in there, and part of it is part of my back stock that's for sale. And if I ever found out that all of a sudden there was a rush on, say, South Dakota cards, I could just run to my shop and grab all the South Dakota cards and list them. So that's one way I work with it. So I sell some every month. Sometimes I sell $50 worth. Sometimes I sell $100 worth. But I wouldn't do just a postcard booth unless you have a big postcard community in your area. We do not in Billings, Montana. We don't even have a postcard club. There's only a little over 100,000 people in the surrounding area. So there's not a lot of population to draw from either. So for me, I could not survive in just a postcard booth. I need the other stuff too. And a lot of people are really surprised that postcards sell when I talk to them. So that culture isn't there. And I put them all basically for $1 to $2 each. These are the ones that I don't want to list on eBay. So that's how that works. So I don't really have any high value ones there. Okay, then we have Swapping Linens for Real Photo Postcards, and Thrifty Gal Collectibles said, what an awesome lot. My favorites are RPPC and Chrome. I have one question. How do you research the names on the backs of the people postcards? Do you just do a Google search and do you put the name in the title or in the description? Okay, so I think that what she's referring to here is when you have a real photo postcard of like somebody, just a person, and it's not like a celebrity or somebody, it's just a common everyday person, and on the back they say, here is Aunt Ellen 1912 or something. What I would do is I would put that name, if it's just Aunt Ellen, I'm not going to put it there, but if it has a first and last name, I'm going to put it somewhere, the title, or the description. I prefer the title because I actually don't put much in the description at all, ever, about what the postcard is, because the title basically says it all. So, but yes, I would put that in there, and especially if it has an address or a date or a location, because somebody might be looking for that person, and there you go. So hope that helps. Now I'm going to eat my lunch and then head off to my antique booth. And we're at Marketplace. I have 2 more questions to answer, and the next one is from the video Postcards and Ephemera, What Sold, the quick flips that came out, my most recent What Sold video. And Tammy Talent asks, what is your goal monthly for sales? Because it seems like you have a good month to me. Fun to watch. Are you doing your booth sales as well? $50 a day has been my goal, and then once I got that, I went to $60. So basically right now I'm looking at $2,000 a month, which to some sellers is like pocket change. So, but I'm slowly building it up. It's been less than 2 years since I started, and it's a long tail. And I just changed from going to common to less common cards. So what I'm aiming for is just to keep going. So I'm more looking at average day sales. And so right now it equals to about $2,000 a month. Okay, then how are my booth sales? My booth sales haven't been as great this last month. I think that I just haven't spent much time on it, and you haven't seen many videos on it because I've been focusing on eBay business, and I have just barely been treading water. I'm not losing any money from it, but because I haven't been doing much, I haven't been selling much. But tour season's coming up, so that's always good for our shop. Okay, the last one that I have printed out here is from the Postcard Selling Update, which just came out. Okay, I'm recording this on Tuesday, a week before, and so not all the comments I have yet, because I'm sure there'll be more comments coming out on the video that just went out this morning. So Sam Chap asks, good video, thanks. Is it harder to source those higher value cards? Most of the cards I find don't seem to sell for that much. I would love to find a box of $10 cards. Okay, so one thing I didn't explain is that you have to look for the $10 or up cards. The majority of cards you're going to find are going to be less than $10. It's just the way it is. So when I buy like a lot of postcards, maybe I pull out, a stack like this that I want to sell for $10 or more, and the rest I just rehome. And when I go to an antique store or something, or a show, I am picking through to find those certain ones. I'm probably not going to come across a lot of postcards that all of them are worth $10 or more for cheap. If you do find it, they're going to want more money, of course, but you could get lucky though and find somebody who just wants to get rid of their postcards and they have this amazing inventory. But most of the time you're going to find just common cards, and it's just the way it is. So you're probably going to get a box of cards, and then you have to go through and find the treasures. It's treasure hunting. And I am going to be doing a video soon, or another video series. I did the Sourcing to Sold series last year, and I would like to update you on my processes. I think somebody asked me to do a process video. I have a lot of new watchers that came over from Suzanne Wells' interview. A lot of people curious about postcard selling. So I'm going to have a couple fun little videos coming up about why you might hate postcard selling, why you might love it. So those will be coming up soon too, to kind of test the water to see if it's for you. So that's what I have, and leave your questions below for next time, and I will talk to you later. Have a joyful day. Goodbye.